Alright, shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the occupant who are pushing his gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord, will live upon your houses. This is Brother Corner Watts from the Arizona Great Millstone Camp. Come back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Shai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will. It is straight to the point. Hey, man, shit stirring up. America is fucking Esau Edom's rulership in America, which is Esau Edom's cash cow. Hey, this shit's over, man. This shit is fucking over. Right? There's a lot of infighting that's going on between these damn devils, man. And you know, what I'm about to get into is ultimately an example of that, right? As you see right here on the screen, right? This is a screenshot from, you know, X, formerly known as Twitter, right? First, right, Donald Trump, it says the easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, is to terminate Elon's governmental subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. So at one point, right, Trump, you know, had Elon Musk, you know, in the office, right? He allowed him to set up I guess you can call it a branch of the government, right, called Doge, which was ultimately to dig into these government agencies and, you know, find out where the money's going, you know what I mean, and whatnot. And, you know, we understand that there were a lot of, you know, government agencies and whatnot that were either, you know, terminated and or, you know, forced to, you know, how do you say that, man? Forced to basically, you know, downsize, you know, and whatnot, man. And now here you go, he's turning, you know, immediately against, you know, Elon Musk and whatnot, and saying, hey, you know, we gotta fucking, you know, we gotta cut him down, you know. And Elon's pissed about it, man. And this is why he retweeted, you know, Donald Trump's tweet and said what? He says, in light of the president's statement about cancellation of my government contracts, SpaceX will begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft immediately, right? Which we know that SpaceX, right, was ultimately, I think by Donald Trump, right, was established, you know, as a new branch of the military, right? The Space Force, right? And Elon Musk was to head, you know, the Space Force, right, and whatnot. And that's coming to an end, right? That's coming to a straight up fucking end, man. And I have this one right here as well. It says time to drop the really big bomb. You know, it says at the real Donald Trump is in the E-files, man. We'll call it that, right? E-files. You see what it is, right? It says that is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. So he basically just outed, you know, Donald Trump, man, saying, hey, you know, this dude, right, was part of that, you know, because for those that don't know, right, which you should know at this point, man, if you haven't been, you know, if you've been living under a rock, you know, of course you wouldn't know, but, you know, for the most part, we all should know about, you know, Epstein and you know, the shit that, you know, allegedly happened, you know, with him, right? His island and whatnot. You know, basically, you know, fucking with kids and, you know, basically doing these little, there's a movie called Apex, right? You can go and look it up. It has, what's his face? Bruce Willis in it. You know what I mean? And they basically sent him to an island and were basically hunting him. Well, that's the same thing that was happening at the E Island, right? The Ep Island, you know, except they're doing it to little kids, scaring them, and at the peak of their fear, you know, basically stealing their blood, their DNA, you know. It's called achroming, and I'm not going to go into the full word, right, for, you know, don't want them to basically strike my channel down, but it's called achroming, you know. And you know, Elon Musk is basically saying that Donald Trump, right, is part of that, you know, that he's on that list, you know, of the different people, the politicians and Edomites that are, you know, basically being hidden, right? And this is why those files haven't necessarily been, you know, brought out there, you know, or put out there, you know, out in Donald Trump, man, you know. But I'm gonna go ahead and grab a couple scriptures, man, you know, and then close it out, man. Gotta, you know, meet with the bros, man. Do another end of the week sit down, you know. But I got this right here. This is Matthew 12 and verse 25. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And see, again, right, this right here, this infighting that's happened between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, you know, this is happening right at the peak of Esau's establishment, right, in the government, you know, let alone, right, happening, you know, at a lower level, right. You have, you know, Republican versus Democrat. Now you even have, you know, Republicans going against, you know, Republicans, you know. So this whole infighting is starting to happen a lot more, which is again an indication that, hey, this place is fucking going down. America and Esau Edom and his rulership is going down, man. You know, and there's nothing that you can do to try to, you know, heal this place, man. You had, you know, basically Donald Trump, as we read, he's saying that way to save billions and billions is to basically cancel Elon's government contracts, man. You know, but that's not going to help, man. Let's go ahead and jump to this. In Jeremiah, what is that? In Jeremiah 51, and verse 8, it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed, right? So, you know, that balm is ultimately like an ointment, right, which is to, you know, ultimately help heal, right, a wound. And see, America is wounded, man, you know, economically, socially, you know, internationally, right, especially, you know, with the dollar and whatnot. America's in a very bad state right now, you know. And see, you know, Trump is trying to do everything that he can, right? Even going back into the Biden administration when they were basically raising the debt ceiling, you know, basically, you know, eliminating certain, you know, aspects of certain government agencies, like Social Security was basically being cut back, you know, the age of retirement was, you know, rose up, you know, and all these different things, right? They're thinking that these things are going to help the economy or help stabilize the economy, but see, these things are not going to happen, right? Those things only, you know, delaying the inevitable, right? The destruction, you know, and the crumbling of the American society, right? As we see it happening now, right? Verse 9, it says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. These things never are not going to work, right? America is done for. America is not going to come back, you know. Esau Edom's rule is over. Job 14:5, he gave him bounds that he cannot pass, right? We're at the end of Esau Edom's rulership, and this is why things are not working his way, you know. All this infighting shows you the apes. They can't really make up their mind, right? You got, you know, Trump is sitting here pulling left, right, while the rest of the government is saying, hey, what the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is he doing? They don't know what's going on, right? So therefore they're like, oh no, well, judges, you know, saying, no, he can't do this, no, he can't do that, no, he can't do this. But in reality, Trump's signing executive orders and whatnot, you know, and then just acting on it, man, not waiting for the rest of the government to, you know, basically catch up, you know. So this is what we're seeing happen, man. And again, this is an indication of the fall of America, right? It says, forsake her and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies, man. And you know, we're looking at the beginning, right, of the judgment on America, man. And soon that that full recompense, or that full judgment, right, that's ultimately going to take place is going to be the complete and utter destruction and obliteration of America, man, by way of ICBM nuclear missiles, as well as those ICBM, as well as the chariots, right, where Yahweh Shai cracks the sky, right, as well as those chariots coming and sending down those laser beams and destroying this bitch, man. You know, but this is a good sign, man. This is a good sign. Call law Yahweh Shemel Shai. Call law Yahweh Shemel Shai. We're seeing the downfall of this place, man. Right, soon it's gonna be destroyed, man. But that's all I got, man. I want to, ultimately get out here with these bros, man. Lord wills, at a fine Lord will, straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachak, Wadash, double honor, said the elder apostles, the bishop, great millstone. Till next time, I say shalom.